Welcome to the Stanley Parable. This is one I wanted to do for a long time.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-lifting, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Yeah.
Stanley was happy.
Stanley was happy.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Interesting. I hate Mondays. Well, luckily it's a Tuesday. 4B3 100. Can't even see what this says.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This is the part that I've always wanted to. Do I want to listen to him? Nah.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling
Tips
a wave
for not
of
getting
disbelief,
fired. Talk
Stanley
less.
decided to go
Do
up
unbelievably
to his boss's
incredible
office,
work.
hoping he
All
might
that-
find
I
an
didn't
answer
see
there.
it. Let it ball up inside you, take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers, resent coworkers for not supporting you more, and then let it all ball up inside you. Using slides to assure to employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and throw some bevel on all the text. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Yes! Let's go. Ow.
Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Interesting. I did one run and I walked into the broom closet, so I guess that was the
Staring
follow-up
into his
dialogue.
manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to
Oh, hey.
discover not an indication of any
There's the
human
icon
life.
for the...
Shocked, unraveled,
There's for the-
Stanley
for the
wondered
game.
in
Right there.
disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss
cat.
had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
Okay,
But
so...
of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2, 8, 4...
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I don't wanna. Hey, camera. Shut this door. Let me walk out this one. Hold on. hit. I don't want to press buttons. Okay, fine. Oh, I can't fall between the cab. Darn. I'm scared. Oh. Okay.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I don't wanna. Someone needs to call extension 914 immediately. It's like a creepy hallway. I don't want to go in there.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Just kidding. Just kidding about my just kidding.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I'm not gonna listen to you.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Let's do it. Yeah!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Bye, narrator.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body,
Who
killing
the
him
fuck
instantly.
are you?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes
This is an
meaningless,
interesting
making
thing.
life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
What the fuck? Is that my office? That looks like my office. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development through the core layout. Though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration, So yeah, you walk through here, blah 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 blah. Oh, and then 2 doors. The pacing of this open section was important to get right. The corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches 2 doors in a good time. Something about the 2 doors, probably. No. Really? This is just credits? The Office. Good show. More endings, more narrators, fewer narrators. Just to lose. Larger words, text. Am I going crazy? Maybe it's the same image that was the clock there before? How long do I remember? Okay. The lounge. The office. I haven't seen that part yet. Is this like every single ending to... This is pretty sweet. That looks like something from Portal. Hmm. Movie time. Hmm. Okay. That was nice and all, but I must continue. That's pretty cool. This is one of the sweetest things I've ever seen. Employee lounge.
Stanley pushed for number 6. Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design. Textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you...
Oh, that would be... I might have to sit there for a little bit longer sometime and check that out. Just narration outputs? Or outtakes? Interesting. I don't want to go there yet. Hey, there's this office. That's what his final one looked like, I think. Alright, let's go see what's at the exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
Huh. Okay. Do I actually have to hit escape? Begin the game again. So apparently he gets crushed, and he dies. What the fuck?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Well, somebody
All of
picked
his
up the
co-workers
papers,
were gone.
so
What could it mean?
someone had to be
Stanley
here.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I want to go in that room. How do I get to that room?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I don't wanna.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
There's no bushes. Can't aim for the bushes.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
Aim
I'm
for the
not.
truck.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please.
For the
stop
king!
Trying to make every decision by... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Nice. Like that one.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct
Let's
way
ride the
to the
lift,
meeting
see what
room,
happens.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room
I want a
was now
beverage.
too horrible even to consider.
Okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I don't wanna.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
Go over the
fired
left
years
this time.
ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me,
Oh,
I'm asking for her.
who is her? Who the fuck is her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who's been waiting? I don't like this. No, I don't like. What the fuck?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to
There's
do
a
this.
plug.
To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Kinda wanna unplug it.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. It's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits.
Right, let's see
Not
what
picking
happens
up the phone
next time,
is
actually.
somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything.
Fuck
I don't
you, buddy.
understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why I've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the start to a healthy decision-making
My
process.
gosh, it is at
Most
4:30.
medical
I gotta go to a
professionals
back
recommend making
second
at least
crack.
8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant.
Hey,
And the
there's me.
feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You
What
may have
the-
noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
I can't jump off.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse.
I wanna go
Unfortunately,
there.
It seems
That
this place
door
is
looks
not well equipped
nice.
to deal with reality.
Do not lie. If you're lying right now, stop. Okay. Am I gonna go back to the 2 doors? This is really extreme.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I don't wanna.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that?
I don't
What did you think
wanna.
was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that?
I didn't
can't
mean
erase that
to.
knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down.
No,
I
don't.
have to.
Please, please, please.
I
Stab.
have to.
Stab! What the fuck?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He
I don't
actually knows how
wanna.
to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm
Okay.
quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Is it still gonna be broken when I get in here? No, it works.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Whoa.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
Something's
boss's
gotta be-
office,
get Chris out of
hoping
the
he might
broom
find an
closet.
answer there.
Okay. I'm gonna get Chris out of the broom closet. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Well, it looks like I have no choice but to do.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human
It's
life.
different.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Night Blue 115.
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. Does it actually like Night
I'm
Shark?
sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly
I
decide
said
what other things to
it!
do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What the fuck?
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. I need you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You can't be wrong. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. As much time as you need.
This is... Game restarts. This looks different. What the F?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What the AF? Godzilla.
Yet there was not a
No.
single person here either.
No.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
This is nice. This is a nice bathroom. Oh.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
I'm so calm right now.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated,
I want
Stanley
more.
calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
I want more. I want more. Let's actually go into the mind control facility this time.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Sure, let's go explore. Now
the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Fired!
Each bore
Fired!
the number of an employee in the building.
I didn't get to see how many
Stanley's
people got
co-workers.
fired.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Terminated.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
CCTV.
Was this the
I
only
know what the
reason he was happy with his
CCTV.
boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to
Whoa.
accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
I don't wanna.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first. So
Goodbye, employee 427.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully?
Another choice?
Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Nice.